Evening, everyone. We will now begin today's session, which is the final session on pillars of holistic health and longevity. Today, we are going to cover connecting or connectedness and purposefulness and what impact that has on holistic health and longevity. I start off with the usual disclaimer. My presentation is not intended to provide medical advice. It is intended for information purposes only. Please note, I'm not from the medical field, but my research is based on the work of scientists and medical professions. If you decide to make changes, it is best to consult with your GP. My presentation is based on my own experience and in no way implies that this is a universal cure, as I recognize that each individual is unique. There is no hidden agenda. I'm not making anything out of this. I'm just sharing some wisdom. Knowledge is power. I've just had a request if we could basically start just a few minutes late. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a few minutes. And perhaps it is better that we've covered a lot in the last 7 sessions. And if there is anyone who would like to share anything based on what we have covered, or especially last week, moving more, by making any even small changes, if there is anything that that you guys have experienced. Rameshji?
Yes, Dinesh. So, walking is one of my favorite things. And I always have my reminder on my, let's say, smartwatch that always keeps me reminding, keep moving. Because the moment I sit, I think for 45 minutes straight, it just buzzes that I have to move.
Excellent.
And then I have my target of 6,000 steps a day minimum. So I keep moving, and there are times when I don't do that, some days, depending on the weather or whatever. Yeah, then I know that next day I have to cover up something more.
Very good.
So,
is this an app on your watch, or is this an app on the mobile?
So my smartwatch is linked with my mobile. So my smartwatch is always giving these, let's say, alarms.
Very good. Excellent.
Yeah. So it's I think one of the most important thing. And I always notice when I walk a lot of things are different when I sleep, or a lot of things are different on that particular day. So yes, Dinesh.
Yes. Anyone else? So I can talk about myself. Kinnari and I generally go for a walk every day in the morning for 1 hour. It probably happens about 5 times a week. I don't think it happens 7 days a week because of the London weather. But since I started researching on Move More, there is an app, an NHS app, which is Active 10. So this NHS app is really wonderful. What it does is, you need to set yourself a target. And what I've done is I've just set myself a target of 30 minutes of brisk walking. So it counts all the steps that we are taking during the day, but it also counts the number of minutes that we are walking briskly. I've got a 30-minute target of every day, but this week it gives us by week, it gives us by month. I've already done since Monday. I've done 320 minutes of brisk walking. So today, a lot of my time was spent in preparation for today's session. but I've still done 20 minutes. And after the session finishes, I will do another 10. It is a very, very good reminder. And this, and the change and the difference it has made is, if before I researched into all this, I would sit for a few hours and complete the task that I had at hand. Now I don't care about the task always gets done. But every time I have an hourly chime on my mobile, and when it tells me it's 10 o'clock, I will get up, walk for 3 to 5 minutes briskly, and then come back and sit down. So when I sit down, then I am actually, because a lot of blood has circulated in the body, more blood has gone into the head, into the brain, then I am much more fresh and more productive, and it takes less time to complete tasks, and they are done in a better quality way. So it is definitely helping me. Is there anyone else who would like to share anything? Yes, Ritesh ji.
Yeah, good evening, Dinesh ji, and good evening to all the masters. Well, I can remember two things which I have incorporated from your sessions.
Thank you.
One is I have reduced my intake of caffeine and milk products considerably.
Excellent.
Now I take only one time a day tea, that in the morning. That's it. Previously, I used to take 3 to 4 times.
Are you struggling? Have you had any withdrawal symptoms, and how do you feel?
I feel very light, very energetic. Yes, I can feel positive changes.
So the caffeine was not actually giving you energy. It was a false booster.
Yes, kind of. I was living in illusion.
So were we all.
Yeah.
And has any, reducing your milk intake, has that made any difference?
Yes, as I said, I feel more energetic.
Very good. Excellent.
And another habit which I have quitted is after my meals in the night, I used to go for a walk.
Yes.
But in one of your sessions, you told that it's not correct. In fact, one should walk before meal and not after.
Ayurveda it stated that you can walk 100 steps after any meal, just 100, not a long walk.
Okay.
So
So these two things I remember, but I have listened to all of your sessions very carefully, and
thank you.
and it's became a part of me, most of the things. But I am not able to recollect what exactly
So
as of now. Yeah.
what I'm planning to do is, next week when I get some time, I'm going to prepare a small, maybe 8-slide deck, a PDF file, which will cover the main topic, let's say fasting, and some salient features, and what easy steps, easy tips one can take to improve or transform one's life. And they will cover all the 8 topics that we will have covered by the end of this session. And easy tips. So these are small changes that we make, but they have a big impact on our daily energy levels and our life.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yes, I will share that in the Beam groups.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm now ready to start. So just give me 2 minutes, yeah. So we now go back and look at the blue zones. The blue zones are the areas in this world where people live the longest, and their long life is complemented by a healthy long life. So one of the questions is, what is one of the single most important factors discovered in the blue zones. And surprisingly, it is maintaining healthy relationships is critical to a long life. That is being connected to people, having healthy relationships. I'm now going to go to the first poll question, and I would appreciate if everybody would join in. So the first poll question is, how often do you feel lonely? Rarely, sometimes, most of the time, or never. There is a small error in there. So just ignore choice 4, yeah? So it is rarely, sometimes, most of the time, or never. Ten more seconds. Thank you. I will now share the results. So some 50% says sometimes, which is actually very good. That means that we do actually have good, healthy relationships. Rarely is obviously sort of brilliant, which is 10%. And never is really very, very good, which is 40% of the people said never. So it is seriously, all of this is showing that we actually have good, healthy relationships. Now, what does being connected mean? Think about the last time you spent time with your family or friends or people you care about. How did that make you feel? Being connected with people in your life helps you feel like you belong. It even helps reduce stress, boosts your immune system, lowers your blood pressure, and can lengthen your life. In fact, people with strong social support are usually happier, have better mental health, and feel a stronger sense of belonging in the community. Now let's look at the world today. We are living in the most connected time in human history. More than half the world uses social media. 58.4% of the whole world's population now uses social media, which means 4.62 billion people around the world use social media. In the last 12 months, a further 424 million new users have come online. The other thing about being connected to social media is the average daily time spent using social media is 2 hours and 27 minutes. It's a staggering 2 hours and 27 minutes. I wish we could meditate for that long every day, and it would transform us completely. So if we look at, we must be using so many of those apps to connect to people. I'm now going to go to the next poll question, which is, do you feel you are able to connect with people whilst using social media? Please do participate. 10 more seconds. I will end the poll now, and I will share the results. So 80% said yes, which is good, because being able to connect using social media is very important. Social media is there, but in a lot of instances, we are not truly able to have healthy relationships and connect with people. And 20% say no, which is quite true and fair, because we will now see what really happens in life. Yeah. So we are the most connected, since we've ever had anything. So, but the opposite is true. Why? If you look at the statistics, we are lonelier, more depressed, and anxious than ever, and people are turning to therapy and antidepressants to cope. Social media is a great idea only if we are using it to really connect with others. What are the drawbacks of social media? It can be harmful, especially when we look at other people's pictures of perfect holidays, perfect relationships, and the great food that they are eating, and we feel down. And that is a fact. In reality, nobody's life is perfect. Everybody has ups and downs, but on social media, nobody is going to post their downs. They're only going to post what is really positive. So I'm going to show you 3 photographs. The first one is 3 friends are together. Rather than connecting with each other, they're connecting with others on social media. The next photograph is a couple and a cat, and they're together, but they're not connecting with each other, but they're trying to connect with someone else on social media. And it appears that the cat is really getting bored. A husband and wife are together. Rather than talking and connecting, they're both on social media together. Isn't this a common feature in our homes today? We are together in the lounge, and we will all have our own smartphones, and we will be looking at those smartphones. A family is together. Everybody is sitting together down, to eat, having dinner. But along with our dinner plate, we've got our smartphone. Rather than conversing with the other family members, we are all focused either on eating or just on our smartphones. That is how social media has transformed our lives. Now let us look at some statistics about self-reported loneliness amongst older adults. So this is the number of people over 50, over 60, over 65 who are reporting that they feel lonely. Loneliness can affect everyone. Loneliness does not discriminate on age, on gender, or borders. It happens all over the world. Money, fame, power, beauty, social skills, a great personality, nothing can protect you against loneliness because it's part of your biology. Loneliness is a bodily function like hunger. Hunger makes you pay attention to your physical needs. Loneliness makes you pay attention to your social needs. The human being is a social animal. Our bodies and minds are fundamentally the same they were 50,000 years ago. We are still biologically fine-tuned to being with each other. Your body cares about your social needs because millions of years ago, it was a great indicator of how likely you were to survive. Natural selection rewarded our ancestors for collaboration and for forming connections with each other. Our brains grew and became more and more fine-tuned to recognize what others thought and felt, and to form and sustain social bonds. Being social became part of our biology. You were born into groups of 50 to 150, which you usually stayed with for the rest of your life. Getting enough calories, staying safe and warm, or caring for offspring was practically impossible being alone. Being together meant survival. Being alone meant death. So it was crucial that you got along with others. For the ancestors, the most dangerous threat to survival was not being eaten by a lion, but not getting the social vibe of the group and being excluded. Human beings started building a new world for themselves. The loneliness epidemic that we see today really only started in the late Renaissance. Western culture began focusing on the individual. Intellectuals moved away from the collectivism of the Middle Ages. This trend accelerated during the Industrial Revolution. People left their villages and fields to enter factories. Communities that had existed for hundreds of years began to dissolve, while cities grew. As our world rapidly became modern, this trend sped up more and more. Today, we move vast distances for new jobs, for love, for education, and leave our social net behind. We meet fewer people in person, and we meet them less often than in the past. Today's statistics say in the US, the mean number of close friends dropped from 3 in 1985 to only 2 in 2011. Most people stumble into chronic loneliness by accident. You reach adulthood and become busy with work, university, romance, kids, and Netflix. There is just not enough time. The most convenient and easy thing to sacrifice is time with friends. Until you wake up one day and you realize that you feel isolated, that you yearn for close relationships. But it's hard to find close relationships as adults, and so loneliness can become chronic. So we now look at what the health risks of loneliness are. People who feel alone or isolated often have poor health. Loneliness is dangerous. People suffering from loneliness are in a constant fight or flight mode, a stress mode. The reason loneliness has such serious consequences is that the human being is a social being. And if it's on its own for too long, it gets sick. So what are the health risks? It increases a person's risk of premature death from all causes, a risk like those of smoking, obesity, and physical inactivity. Loneliness increases the risk of dementia by 50%. There is an 29% increased risk of heart disease and a 32% increase of stroke. There is a higher rate of depression, anxiety, and suicide. Loneliness amongst heart failure patients was associated with a nearly 4 times increase of death, 68% increased risk of hospitalization, and 57% increased risk of emergency department visits. So what does Dr. Vivek Murthy, a former Surgeon General of the US, say? He says, loneliness and weak social connections are associated with a reduction in lifespan, similar to that caused by smoking 15 cigarettes per day. Now, I'm going to go on to the next poll question. For those who never feel lonely, you can probably give an answer that, if you did feel lonely, what you would do. So it's a very simple poll question. And the question is, how do you deal with your loneliness? Do you connect with others on social media? Do you prefer going out? Or do you meet friends and family? Would be great if everybody responded. And more seconds. Thank you. I will end the poll now, and I will share the results. So 27% said, connecting with others on social media. 36% said going out, and a further 36% said meeting with friends and family. All three are right. If we need to find our way of dealing with loneliness. So now we go on to what we can do about loneliness. The first thing is self-care or self-love is something that is extremely important for our mental health. Sometimes the truth is we may feel lonely because deep down we longed for our own friendship. When is the last time you were kind to yourself? Took a minute to relax and wind down just for yourself. Some people manage loneliness by setting a good daily routine and including in that routine various other things that I'm now going to talk about. The second thing is show compassion. Often when we are lonely, we may wish that somebody could simply be there for us, someone to understand us and show us some compassion. Well, a little compassion can go a long way. Don't you feel cheerier and when someone gives you a compliment? When someone does a favor for you, don't you feel a little more valued and a little less alone? So if you are feeling lonely, why not bring that compassion to others as well and spread love? Because not only does carrying out kind acts for others help them feel cheery, it can actually make us feel cheery as well and less lonely in the process. After all, we are engaging in a form of social interaction. Then the other important thing is talk to people. It's very important. We meet a lot of people every day. And even going to the supermarket or wherever else, just talk to a few people. Talk to the person on the till, and it will actually cheer them up, and you will feel happy as well. So talk to as many people as you do, especially the ones that you normally wouldn't talk to, because these are often the ones that we come into contact on a daily basis. The next thing is share something about yourself. When people are lonely, they tend to disclose less about themselves when they talk to others. They reciprocate less. So if you want to take your interactions to a whole new level and create connections that are real with people, then you have to share about yourself and open up. Then find your tribe. By tribe, I mean people who share common interests and ideas and connect with them. The last but not least is reach out to local services that help you connect with new people. And if medical help is required, get some professional help. Now we move on to the final topic of the 5 pillars. And that is, in these blue zones, one of the very common traits is knowing your purpose has been shown to play a significant part in adding years and fulfillment to your life. So what is knowing your purpose? So what is knowing your purpose? In the blue zones of the world, purpose has always played a major role in well-being and the resulting extreme longevity. Okinawans call it ikigai, Costa Ricans call it plan de vida. Having a purpose in life has been nominated consistently as an indicator of healthy aging for several reasons. Accruing evidence suggests that finding a purpose for your life may add years to it. In 2019, a JAMA Network Open study found among a group of 7,000 adults over 50, those who scored highest on a scale that measured life purpose were less likely to die during the 4-year study period. They were also less likely to die during the same period from heart, circulatory, or blood conditions compared to those who scored lower. In Japan, there is a word for life purpose. It is ikigai. And this is, it sort of forms of 4 circles. One is mission. In our life, if you want to find out what our purpose is, then we need to look at mission. Mission is, what do we love to do? Vocation is what the world needs. Profession is something that you can get paid or rewarded for. And passion is what we are good at. Each of these elements contribute to your happiness, health, finances, and intellectual pursuit. All 4 are crucial for you to find the reason to wake up in the morning. Now, we go to Okinawa, and in Okinawa, people live longer and happier lives because they know their reason for waking up. It need not be complicated as the previous slide showed. It can be very simple. The important thing is when we wake up in the morning, we need to have something to look forward to. So the dance teacher says, my reason to get up in the morning is to watch my students improve at my dance school. The horse trainer says, my ikigai is taking on the responsibility I have for the horses, look after people and the people I have contact with. The craftsman says, when I see that my customers are happy, I am happy. The grandmother says, I do not have any siblings, but I have many grandchildren. Seeing them and having them visit is what is ikigai for me. The boxer says, to be the world champion, not just for me, but for my team, that is my ikigai. So, it could be anything, but it is something that we look forward to. It gives us some motivation, some purpose. Life without a purpose is unfulfilling. A life without purpose has no meaning. A lack of purpose means a lack of goals. This means nothing is leading you to an imaginary final destination. You literally have nowhere to go. You find it absolutely torturous to be on the way, and you don't even like the route. Once you have a goal, you get an idea, the bigger the outcome that you can look forward to. Every step of the way becomes meaningful. Your journey is not just a wander around without an aim. Instead, even the strolls become enjoyable because you know that they're leading you to where you are supposed to be. Motivation, if do not have a purpose, motivation is a long lost dream. Without motivation, without a purpose, you can never scale your achievements. Since you don't know what it's leading you to, you consider it to be meaningless. But when you are all fully aware of the expected results, the smallest progress is a motivation booster too. If you do not have a purpose, then a lack of focus keeps you from growing and being successful. A life purpose, if we have a life purpose, it helps us working in one direction. We may take a few turns here and there, but the ultimate output is known. So all the hard work that you're putting in is intended for your life's purpose in the bigger picture. This focus is unachievable any other way. With a purpose, you'll choose a career path, people around you, relationships, friends, living space, and even your daily commute accordingly. So everywhere you go, your focus remains undisturbed. The end goal in mind is consistent. With a clear focus on the right things, you can easily go past the minor inconveniences. The important things are always in your focus, no matter how small they are. So overall, it gets way easier for a person with with a defined life purpose to work well, harder, and more effectively. If we do not have a purpose, it's going to affect our mental and physical health. And the last thing is, nothing in life is enjoyable if we don't have a purpose. Social inclusion is a huge part of one's purpose in life. People who are living a purposeless life tend to be more lonely. So friends, this brings us to the end of these 8 sessions on pillars of holistic health and longevity. So what we have covered to date is the first pillar, which was mouth. In mouth, we covered 2 items. One is fasting. And the tip is it actually resets our body. It is a reset button. And what it does is it triggers the longevity gene. And the simple tip is make the evening, the night fast a little longer. Can you make it, if it's 10 hours, make it 12 hours. If it's 12 hours, make it 14 hours. Otherwise, make it 16 hours. Do some intermittent fasting and your body will thank you. The second thing that we covered in mouth was eat to beat disease. Eat a whole food, plant-based diet. Reduce intake of animal products. Reduce intake of processed foods, which are very bad for us. Reduce intake of sugar and vegetable oils. The second pillar that we looked after was the mind. Stress is responsible for 80% of our illnesses. So, take some time and meditate. Meditation really helps us manage stress and is also the gateway to self-enlightenment. Have a sleep hygiene routine. Sleep for 7 to 9 hours every day. And then we covered breathing. 2 important points is breathe through your nose. And when you inhale, take a deep, full inhale. When you exhale, let it be a slow, long exhale. Last week, we covered move more. A 1 hour's exercise is great for the day, but keep moving throughout the day, every half an hour or an hour, a few minutes break, get up and move. Today, we covered connecting with people, have healthy relationships with people. And the final pillar we covered is have a life purpose. Look forward to something every day, and it will make our lives healthier and longer. And finally, as Martin Luther King said, you don't have to see the whole staircase. Just start, just take the first step. So thank you everyone who have joined today and have sort of been part of this series. I hope that it has been useful to everyone. It has definitely been useful to me. So I will take any questions or anything that people want to share from this session or from the whole series.
Actually,
Yes, yes, Ramesh.
yeah, so it was wonderful 8 weeks journey because there was, lot of information that one might take years and years to gather was concised and easily presented in these 8 week sessions. So I learned a lot of things. So very grateful to you. I learned more particularly about the food. Yes, I am. We are having 2 meals a day, but then going into that gap things and then learning a little bit more of those things was very, very interesting, and many other topics that you have shared. So I'm sure each one who were part of this journey might have also connected to some or many other useful tips and informations that you have shared. So I'm very, very grateful to you, Dinesh. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I see all the wonderful effort you have put into in making these presentations, gathering the information. I think it was a lifetime of information that you have shared to us in these 8 weeks. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I need to thank you and Madhuji for giving the opportunity to actually present this series. And equally, to be quite honest, I also need to thank Kinnari for supporting me in these 8 weeks because I was busy and she was doing a lot of the research for me. So, thanks to her. And I think I definitely have benefited a lot. And I have also made quite a few changes over the last 8 weeks, and within 8 weeks, I'm actually experiencing a lot of benefits. And I shouldn't say this, but I will say it now. I've got some. I report to some senior partners in my firm, and in the last sort of couple of weeks, all of them have, whenever I went into the office, and they say, Dinesh, you don't seem to be aging. What are you doing? And those compliments, it just meant a lot that, whatever I am doing is actually having an impact in the health. I don't have any wishes to live a long life, but it's just that if we can live a healthy life, not be dependent on medications, not be dependent on, on other people to support us, that I think would be a great outcome.
Thank you, Dinesh, and also thank you, Kinnari. Thank you.
Anyone else who has got anything to share?
I see, Dinesh, few of the participants writing directly to me on the chat.
Sure.
So Khairunji was mentioning he will be sharing other ideas and we'll hear and connect with you soon. The same with Balagaru, who is grateful for these sessions.
So we will now go over to the meditation session. I will now share my screen.
Yeah, I see Indraji would like to share something. Is that Indraji? I see you have unmuted.
Ramesh ji, Pratap here. Namaste.
Yeah.
Namaste, Dinesh ji.
Namaste.
Wonderful session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Today, actually, I was meditating. I just got the idea of why people have to eat 3 times a day and how it originated. When we have got sunset and sunrise, there are two things in life. Every day, what we see. How did it originated that one people have to eat 3 times a day?
This is a modern world creation. You know, even in Ayurveda, there was basically just 2 meals. Even in Ayurveda, in the olden times, we never used to eat three times a day. And this is the the westernization, the modern world, the ample food supplies, all processed foods available all the time. That is what has created it. We never used to eat 3 times a day. We never used to snack so many times a day. Snacking was unheard of.
Thank you, Dinesh.
Thank you. There is one thing which is quite, you might. So today we talked about one thing that we talked about was social media, and one of the things that I would like to share is that Kinnaria and I actually met on social media 20 years ago. So social media it does give connections as well. So it was just I thought it might be interesting to know. I will now start the meditation. So please close your eyes, clasp your hands, sit in a relaxed position, and start observing your normal, natural breath. If thoughts come, don't focus on them, focus back on your breath. And 1 minute left. Seconds left. Slowly bring back your awareness to your body and the surroundings. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly place your fingers on your eyes for a few seconds, and then you may open your eyes. So thank you everyone for joining today's session. The one thing which I forgot to mention is I'm doing a TED Talk in May in Deloitte on these 5 pillars of holistic health. Ramesh, if you have any announcements that you want to make for tomorrow or the coming week.
Very happy to hear about this TED Talk, Dinesh. Wonderful. I'm sure this message will go worldwide with such a on such a platform. So very happy to hear that. Congrats. And thanks again, Dinesh. It was a beautiful journey. So thanks a lot to you. And friends. Yes, Balagaru, you want to share something? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Dinesh ji, wonderful sessions. I heard and some in person and some on YouTube. But the social media, what I want to say is, as long as we maintain a good relationship with others without wasting time, connecting to others in a right way, especially it helped us in COVID time.
Yes, it does.
Without going out much and meeting our friends and family members, we were connected to each other, through the social media.
Correct.
It was wonderful. And also same thing, it helped us to get into meditation sessions and connecting to our Zoom sessions. So,
if used in the right way, it is very beneficial.
Yeah. If it is used in the right way, it's wonderful.
Correct. Thank you.
It helps us. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Surekha ji?
Yes, namaste, Dinesh ji.
Yes.
I have joined little late to your session.
Yes.
So I just have 2 questions to clarify, basically. One is about sleep, and the other one is about loneliness.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think I might have missed because I joined little late. So you mentioned sleep, we have to have like 7 to 8 hours, but in perspective, like meditators, right? We don't sleep 8 hours, right? We sleep like most of the meditators, senior meditators, or like 3 to 4 hours. Or they say like 1 hour meditation is equal to 3 hours of sleep. So how does that go into holistic way of living? That's one question. And the other one is about the loneliness. They say like for a meditator, right? You need to be like not too attached to social media or people. Be yourself, or not living, like I'm just trying to put it in a way like sometimes it's better to be alone and go into yourself to see what's happening inside you, right? As a I'm talking these questions are related to meditators, not regular people. I think I don't know if it makes sense. Like I don't know if your wisdom was more on regular people or also on meditators.
Okay, let me
That's those 2 questions.
Let me answer both the questions. Obviously, this was a very, all the 8 sessions were aimed not specifically for people who meditate for long hours every day. Okay, so they were all general sessions. Now, as far as sleep is concerned, for people who meditate a few hours every day, then they definitely require much less sleep. Even if you try to sleep more, you can't sleep because your body is so well rested. So meditators definitely require much less sleep. Yeah. The second question which you've asked is connectedness and loneliness for meditators. It's a very, very good question. So there is a saying in the scriptures that those who are walking on the spiritual path, on the path of self-enlightenment, the feeling is you can be within a big group. You can be amidst thousands of people and you can still be completely alone and aloof. And you can be alone and aloof, but you can still get a feeling that you're actually with amongst thousands of people. Because the Chaitanya, the Atma, the soul, is Sat Chit Anandrup. Sat means it is true. It's the truth. The world, the physical body and the world is false. Sat Chit, it is full of knowledge. And Anandrup meaning it is blissful. So people who walk on the path of meditation, and after some good practice of meditation, you will feel fulfilled from within, and therefore you may not require that loneliness.
Social media.
It doesn't actually apply to people who meditate. Now, on the path itself, the question comes about attachment and being detached. Yeah. We have to, it's a fine line that we have to walk on, because we have a materialistic body and we have relationships and we need to function in this world. We need to continue with what we are doing, maintain those relationships. Everything needs to work as normal. However, we should continue meditating back, because that is the truth, that is the true path, and everything is within. There is nothing outside. Everything is actually within, and we should experience everything within. True spirituality is Tattvamasi. True spirituality is Aham Brahmasmi. As Patriji says, you are God, you are the ultimate, you are the guru, no teacher, no teaching, no student, everything is within. And as we progress on the spiritual path, we will not require any external aid whatsoever. That is people, angels, books, scriptures, guru, teaching, everything will just come from within. And that is what meditation will lead us to.
Okay. Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you so much. I'll follow up your YouTube list. I think Ramji sent it in the chat. I missed all the sessions. Thank you so much. Beautiful session.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ramesh
Mridulaji, yeah, we have Mridulaji would like to share something. Yes, Mridulaji, please go ahead.
Hi, Dinesh ji.
Hi.
I really enjoyed all your sessions.
Thank you.
Each one of them. I want more though. And I want to thank Kinari ji for, helping you get all the, the resources and the data to put it all together.
Thank you.
Yeah, you brought up all the things that we, while we're on this spiritual journey, we're not in a bubble, right? We're still learning. And you brought up all the things that we do, what we eat, what we, exercise, what sleep, and then our social, many people don't know this. I live alone. I didn't get married. I don't have children. My parents now decided to move to India last year after living in this country for I don't know how many years. We moved in 1970. Yeah, and my dad's 80, and I have a sister. They're all, scattered. So whenever I go through any illness or anything, I'm here by myself. But the universe brings what you need, and I don't feel lonely, which I've never felt lonely throughout most of my life, even before meditation. I had strong faith before meditation. So being alone doesn't mean lonely. I just wanted to point that out because you can see I'm here in the house by myself today. And this is my day-to-day except for work. But I don't feel lonely. I interact with our Beam family and interact with other meditation groups, interact here. I have wonderful neighbors. We do need to socialize other than just being here. The Zoom really helped. This kind of interaction is different from the social media where we're posting. That's unilateral, right? And then somebody posts whenever, but we're interacting, whether we're not together. It is part of social media, but I'm interacting with you, even though you're in UK and Ram is in Germany. We're face to face, even though we can't be together. So this is a different type of interaction that started with the pandemic, which helped us actually, and not feel so isolated and alone, lonely, I guess. But I just wanted to point out that fact that being alone does not mean being lonely. And I really, Madhu and Ram are so, they're like my spiritual, they are my spiritual children. I tell them that all the time. But though I have never met them, I'm so connected in my heart to them, and this is such a wonderful, loving family and platform for everyone to come and share what they want to share. There's no judgment, nothing at all, nothing like that at all, just love. That's all and we are one. We think that we don't affect other people. We think that we don't, matter, in the sense of the world, but, how we are to each other, our neighbor, our family, it really reflects on how we are in the world too. And it's like a domino, when we push just the one domino, it creates a whole cascade of things. So, but I really appreciate your sessions. You brought all the things that we need in life while we're attaining the spiritual journey, while we're going on this spiritual journey, I guess. What I wanted to share today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And namaste, Dinesh ji.
And you're right, being alone does not mean lonely. It is a concept. It is how we look at life. Someone can be alone but really fulfilled and connected, and somebody can be in the midst of friends but still feel lonely. And yes, thank you. And all the sessions, it's just helping us being more happy and progressing on the spiritual path was the aim.
Thank you, Dinesh ji. Yes, that's another point you made, is that in the midst of company, we can feel lonely, which is, unusual, right? Being alone, we don't feel lonely. In the midst of company, we can feel lonely. There is the duality. There is the big question. So, but I really enjoyed these 8 sessions. I just love them so much. I want to thank you and Kinari ji from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
Over back to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mridula ji, and thank you everyone for coming up and sharing. And yes, friends, we will all stay connected. And in the chat of the Zoom, I have shared the playlist of these 8 sessions. If you have missed any, please go through them. And if you have visited and been there with all the sessions, do share with your family and friends, because there is such a rich content there, and what helps us will help everyone. So don't miss that. Give them this nice gift of sharing these wonderful sessions that happened there. And do join the Beam family by the via WhatsApp group that is shared, and we will stay connected with much more, let's say, coming together and sharing and learning from every master on this platform. So with this, if it is okay, Dinesh, shall we end?
Yes, we can end.
Yes. So friends, thanks a lot for joining, and thank you, Dinesh, and we look forward to your TED Talk. And for sure, if maybe we are not there physically, but we are at heart there with you, so that your message reaches the whole world. Everyone must hear what you are doing and what you are sharing. So all the best, and thank you. Thank you.